Okay, so here, I'll share it in case anybody needs it. Oh, it's shared already. Fine, good. Okay.
Amarke bechazal.
Yeah, fine. So you have Din de Malchusa, the laws of the country, Tashlumi, Misim, Vayachas, Lechukim Shenim, the paying of the taxes and other laws. Also, Lavriach Ben Amechs Mishum Din Malchusa Dinna. So because the law of the land is also you have to follow the halacha.
Yeah.
You can't evade the taxes. Amoger b'Chazal b'Gemara b'Maseches Bava Kama, and the Gemara and Tractate Bava Kama mevurish also lavriach min hameches. It explains that you're not allowed to evade the taxes.
Amen.
Why mishum dina de malchus dina? Because the law of the land is the halacha, is the law. So that according to halacha, you have to follow the laws of the land. Mashamru Chazal become mekemis shamichsim him b'chezkas gazlonim, and this that the sages. Hang on a second. We see that the sages say in various places that the tax collectors are they have the supposed status of robbers. Like we learned before, that these people, they have chazaka, they have the status quo is they're crooked. This is talking about a tax collector who stands by himself and not with the permission of the king, or somebody who has no exact amount, that he has permission from the king, but he doesn't collect a set amount. That's it's established and set. But rather, he collects from each person according to what he sees fit. So where do you get this thing that the king's laws are the law? So this is the power of the king. It comes out from the fact that the land is his. The yochel and he can say to the inhabitants of that land, Shem loy yitzaisu lidvarav, you got to chase them. If they're not going to heed to his words, he's going to evict them. He's going to exile them from his land, kick them out. So since he has the right to kick some just on if they're not going to go by him, he's going to kick them out. So then he also has the right to charge for a tax for someone who wants to stay there, like a landlord almost. And his edicts have halachic strength, have halachic power. That a person who doesn't pay this tax of the king is like a gazlan, is like a rabbi. How you doing?
How are you?
Baruch Hashem. What's that?
Nice to see you. Sorry I'm late.
It's fine. It's an ongoing party. Any time you join is the right time.
No. I love to be on time always. Trust me. Go ahead.
Yeah. Right. So far, Bekitzer, we said that the Gemara says that you have to pay, that the din de malchus dina, so you have to pay the king's taxes. So
I think when this guy is an agent for the king and he's freelance, and then you're not mechuyev to listen to him, is talking about because he's abusing power. I think no, he's not doing it mishlichus of the king. The collector, yeah.
Because he's not meaning if he was tasked by the king to collect such and such,
Dober Kotsuv, right?
Not that he's following the
That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
your Philistine, you're doing
But I think what he means to say is that he's collecting a random amount, not a Dober
right,
Kotsuv.
right. So that's the guy that Chazal is talking about. That he's a Gazlan.
He's a Gazlan. Now, it's such a person, I
But,
guess you don't have
but
to.
but what the Gemara is talking about in Bava Kama, right? That you have to pay it. That's talking about not by this Gazlan, but one who's properly
Yeah.
doing the king's work.
I heard from very reliable sources that they found the receipt of the Baal Shem Tov's taxes.
They found his tax returns.
Can you imagine that?
So that's
You'd think such a himmlischer Mensch hat sich kein Scheiches zu die Sachen. Did you hear about this or not?
I heard about it.
Yeah, because
I heard he had very meticulous
when they
records.
demanded Trump's tax returns, they asked for the Baal Shem Tovs also.
It was quite meticulous.
Ja, wie viel Geld hat schon gehabt, We can schon meinen.
Because the Baal Shem Tov, he had like these two sides of him that were like almost like extreme opposites from each other.
Really?
Yeah, because on the one hand, he had this like spontaneity sort of, and mystery and spontaneity and what's it called. At the same time, he had like a very, another side which was very masudr and very meticulous and very,
I don't know why, but it came to me as a little bit of a shock that, like, the Sipurim Baal Shem Tov, the Asod der Heuben, and
right,
so
they're disconnected from the world.
yeah, tax returns, that's like, how much more worldly can you be? But it seems
But that's
a
why
kavanah.
that's why a Rebbe is impressive and a Malach no.
Yeah, right.
Because the Rebbe is a human at the end of the day. That's what's impressive about it.
Oh, sure,
Malach,
sure.
whatever. You're a Malach, so what? Big deal.
Listen, it is what it is, That's what it is.
Fine. So, anyways, then we said that Rashba and Ran, they wrote that why does a king have this power? Because the land is his, and technically he can kick anybody out what's it called?
You don't comply. If you don't comply, you're out.
So since he has this right, so he has also the right to charge a tax for whoever wants to be on his land. If not, so don't come on my land.
Right.
The is kosvu harashba v'haran shedina de malchus adina who davke b'malchi umas ha'elam v'lei b'malchi Yisrael. Why? So according to them, the din de malchus applies only by non-Jewish kings, but not by Jewish kings. Lefi shekol am Yisrael shutfim b'Eretz Yisrael, because the Jewish king, unlike a non-Jewish king, he doesn't own the land, right? The non-Jewish king owns the land. Eretz Yisrael is owned by the Jewish people. The ein ba lamelech yesem lish acher, and the king, he's their king, but he doesn't have any more ownership over the land. Meaning he has whatever the piece is that's from his shevet, that goes back to his each shevet. It's just like everybody else. The shalat teshuvah is Rashba. Mevor sheshilton shel Yisrael amemuna beirei. So the Rashba explains now that how about a governor like that's or a mayor or whatever that rules. Obviously, it's back then the governor or the mayor had more power, more control than what today. Certainly in our country. But so he's appointed on this on the city. Or a ruler in whatever his place let's say he's a Jewish ruler, but he's in Chutz. So then his din chosadina. Hi v'hainu shemalchi Yisrael shemichut b'chutz haaretz him b'chlal ma'asha amru din chosadina, that a Jewish king, meaning where does a Jewish king not own the land? when he's in Eretz Yisrael. Why? Because in Eretz Yisrael, he has the same ownership like everybody else, right? But if he was appointed to be the king on a non Eretz Yisrael land, then he's just like any other king on that land. Like we said, because Eretz Yisrael is shaykh to Am Yisrael, and therefore he can't own it. But anywhere else he can own. Nimtza, so it comes out. Im Kain, if so, so according to the Rashba, what's the main difference? It's about Eretz Yisrael or Chutz La'aretz. It has nothing to do with the king himself. So you say dim de malchus adina in Chutz La'aretz and not in Eretz Yisrael.
Because there's no bailus in
right. So but it has nothing to do with the king itself. It's not has nothing to do with a Jewish king and not Jewish king. And it has to do with in Eretz Yisrael, the land itself. There's bailus, but the bailus is like they split up, when they conquered the land. That's the bailus.
Right.
However, the Rashbam writes a different reason. That meaning that the reason, not the reason of because the king owns the land. And this is his wording. Kol misim ve'arnuniyes u'menhagis shel mishpatei melachim shedgil lahag malchusim. So all the taxes and what's arnuniyes?
Arnunia is a tax also. Behemoth Arnunia. Remember that?
Different kind of tax.
Yeah, it's from the courts. Yeah.
Right.
I'm
like
the Gemara
Arnona,
talks
like
about
Arnona, no?
Arnona, yeah.
They have it in Israel. It's like it's a property tax typically.
Right.
It's brought down in the.
Right. So I guess the mass is more like an income tax.
Probably.
That's like either per capita or per income or whatever. And all the minhagim that they generally they conduct themselves this way in their kingdom. Dino, that's the law. Because all the people of the kingdom accept upon themselves from their will the laws of the king and his statutes. And therefore it's a complete law, it's an absolute law. So therefore, somebody who holds the money of his friend, meaning a tax collector, we're going back to the tax collectors, and he takes them the money of somebody else, but he's taking it according to the king's instruction. Then there's no gezel involved by this. It has nothing. It's not because he owns the land, but it's because the people have accepted the king, and they've accepted to follow the command of the king.
And that applies where?
What?
That applies where?
Oh, right, because the king in Eretz Yisrael also you're accepting upon you as the king, and you're accepting to follow his laws, right? So according to the Rashba's reasoning, right? The Rashba's reasoning is that because the king owns the land, but in Eretz Yisrael this doesn't apply. But according to the reasoning of the Rashbam, that is because the people have accepted the king upon them, so this applies everywhere. So now it comes down the next step. We went to the Gemara, we went to the Rashba and the Rashbam, and now let's look. We're going to Rambam and Shulchan Aruch. They who wrote. When do we say that tax collectors are like highwaymen? Bizman shamayches evi kichavim, when he is an idol worshiper, or a tax collector who stands up by himself, or even if he's standing representing the king, but there's no set amount. He's taking what he wants. Aval meiches sheposko melech Litil David Kotov, but a tax that the king Paskind, he ruled that it should be given a set thing. Rama vafilu tziva shisro yitni yesem avitzchavim. Even if he commanded, like we haven't many times in history, this is not just a theory. That even if he commanded that the Jews have a higher tax rate than the Goyim. It's still considered a set amount. And they set up a Jewish tax collector to collect it for the king. And we know that this person is trustworthy, and he's not taking a cent more than what the king decreed. And this person is not the chazak of a gazlan. Mipneishu gezel and monas because he's robbing
on behalf of it.
Right, on behalf of the king, which is not robbery. Bein shoye melech Yisrael, bein shoye melech Gechavim. Whether it's a Jewish king, whether it's a Goyish king. Midivrei Rambam Shulchan Aruch. From the words of the Rambam the Shulchan Aruch, mashma implies she'ein chiluk bein Eretz Yisrael chutz la'aretz. Meaning it sounds like they're holding like the Rashbam. It sounds like there's no difference between Eretz Yisrael and outside of Eretz Yisrael.
Yes.
In the Malchus Adina, when it comes to it, the law of the land is the law. V'hainu k'shita Rashbam now. This is like the view of the Rashbam before. Should take it from Malchus Neveya Mikabbala Sa'am, that the power of his kingship comes from what? Comes from that the nation accepts him as their king. And so it implies from the words of the Mashma and the Shulchan Aruch Sheyuvu Behemshich, that's brought further. Shahari skimu olav b'nei Eis haaretz. Why? Because the people of that land, they agreed with some chadaitam, and they made up their mind shehu adinayim, that he is their master. V'heim lo yavodim, and they are his servants. So we see mamish like that's even more than a mashmos. It seems just saying pretty straight up. In Shulchan Aruch Harav, the Alter Rebbe brings gam mesatam shel Rashba v'gam mesatam shel Rashbam ulahalocha oil midvarav shedin malchus adina hu b'chol makim. So he brings both reasons, but it comes out lahalocha that he paskins like the Rashbam. That dina de malchus adina applies everywhere. Kach mashma gam medivri haramo b'sif ches shehevi machlokes lishonim. So too it implies from the words that Ramah in Sifches, who brings a dispute of the early
commentators.
Yeah. Do we only say that the law of the land is the law when it comes to taxes that hinge on land, that have to do with land? Which the Marik calls like this. Or rather, it's in all financial aspects, like the Trumas Adeshan says. So, simply speaking, this dispute, it's hinges on the reasons that we had before from the Rashba and the Rashbam. Right, the din shalatam shalarashba, that according to the Rashba should take it from malchus nevemi balus alakarka, that the whole power of the king's kingship comes from the fact that he's the owner of the land. So mistabrish din mochsadinu rak b'misam tlim karka. So therefore it would logically it would therefore it make sense that that the law of the land is a law only applies to taxes that apply to the land. The ilul tamar Rashbam, but however, according to the reason of the Rashbam, should take if a malchus neveh mikabolos ha'am, that according to his reasoning, what's the power of the kingship? It's because the nation has accepted him as their king. So then mistaber shedin malchus adinu b'chol inyani mammon. So according to that reasoning, logically, it has nothing to do with land. So therefore, it extends to all financial aspects. Lahaloche kosav aramo had the Rama paskin sheikor kishita hashniya. The paskins like the Rashbam, that all the in all financial matters, the law of the kingdom is the law. Meaning all laws that were made for the benefit of the people of the country, right? The roads and things like this and bridges, or for the king's pleasure. So what does this exclude? Dinim pratim bein odom lachavere. Specific laws between a person and his friend, like the laws of inheritance, that this Jewish people will need to go by the Jewish laws of inheritance rather than by the secular laws of inheritance. We don't go according to the laws of the goyim when it comes to monetary matters that are between a person and his friend. So meaning the IRS, you have to pay. Dina de Malchusa. That's the law of the land. Right? And so too whatever it is, different fees and whatever, regulatory fees, etc. However, when it comes to a dispute between two Jews and their personal money, this you don't follow the secular courts. We go to a bezdin. Because if that's the case, all the Jewish laws will be nullified.
Because he's not going to them. They're not being used.
Right. The fizeh yaitzi shegam maramo maskim shikar aloch shtek v'malchim v'mekabolas. Ilam v'im b'zahev v'chutz la'aretz Yisrael v'chinok v'peskes manenu. So the bottom line is that Ramah really is ultimately holds also like the Rashbam, that it's because they've accepted the king as their king, and therefore according to this there is no difference between. So meaning also in Eretz Yisrael din malchus adina. And the Pesachim of our times go by this. Ha'im avrochas mas mimelech nochri nechsheves hafkoas halavosh muteres. Now we learned before that you have the idea of hafkoas halva, of not paying back a loan.
Yeah, by a goy.
Now, obviously, we do it anyways because otherwise it's chil Hashem, right? It's a desecration of Hashem's name to act in such a way.
Where are you reading now? Page what?
Page 49.
Yeah.
By the title. But the question is, if it's a goyish king and you evade the tax, are you mutar al pi halacha? Now, obviously, you're going to have the same problem of chil Hashem, of desecration of Hashem's name, because you'll get caught in such a thing. It looks very bad. This is the kind of person you are.
Why does he have to be Yehudi Toiv? He says, "Huba le'il meharambam shulchanoch shamabriach." Yeah, aneb nicht. Okay, I mean, why did it be a Yehudi Hogun?
Even al sigzel afil meduber melech nochri. Yeah, so somebody who evades the taxes. Oh, why? We said why. Because if it's being collected by somebody dishonest, then he's not working for the king, really. He's not working for the non-Jewish king. He's
Okay.
working for himself. He's using the king's laws to
Well, we assume that it's mistame like that, or like what's the deal?
he gave before. He gave different,
Okay, fine.
And again, it doesn't really apply today because today, like especially in our country, it's you don't have a guy who's deciding stam that he's taxing you. It's all set rules, and there's a system. It doesn't go by people. It goes by systems. So you wouldn't have this
The Arabs have a special tax which has a Quran thing to it. That anybody who is not believe in the law of Islam, seriously, it's called a Duma. And then they charge an extra tax on Jews from always. So you should know there is such a concept of taxes, rip-off taxes.
On who?
From the Muslims.
Who's it on?
Huh?
Who's it on?
On Jews.
So he said it's fine.
Yeah, I'm saying
as long as it's a set amount. As long as it's not like this one they're charging this and this one that.
Yeah, I don't think it's random, and I think it's coming from the.
If it's a set amount, the psak was that's a valid tax. Even a tax that's an extra tax on Jews is a valid tax in the kingdom. So long as it's
yeah, it's not like everybody does what he wants.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, but if it's set, it's fine, even if it's only on Jews. And you have to pay it.
Fortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
That's on the countries where the Jews lived. I don't think there are too many Arab countries where Jews lived there anymore. But when they had, believe me, they benefited from them in the most ruthless way. But I'm just saying this because we're learning the halachas, and I want you to know historically this is a real thing. It's not like hypothetical. It was a real
Right.
issue because it was they considered it a religious obligation to it's, like I said, it's called a Duma, the tax.
Fine, but then anyway, that according to Shulchan Aruch is a valid tax.
Yeah. If it's a set amount, I don't know.
Set amount, yeah. So long as it's a set amount.
I don't know with them what it was. I'm just.
And anyways, when it's a valid tax, somebody who evades a valid tax, he's even on loisigzu.
Right. I just described you a scenario over here when we know bevados that it was a that we know for bevados it's a set amount. Otherwise, you'd have all the rights in the world to just say no, or just try to not say no, just get out of it, So it's tough because even when it's dishonest, who's going to be the brave one to tell these goyim, I'm not paying you? The most you could do is stray out of it.
Oh, but you could, right, even say you don't tell them I'm not paying you, but yeah, I only made $5 last year.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I hear.
Yeah. Fine. So B'Shulchan Aruch Harav and Shulchan Aruch Harav, the Alter Rebbe explains, this is not the same as somebody who's withholding payment on his loan. Ella gezel mamish, it's mamish robbery. Why? Because he's taking benefit from his land, which is funny because his wording sounds like he's going according to the Rashba, and he's costing him money. He's right. He's doing it without permission, benefiting from the land. Because he could have sold this to somebody else, right? Meaning this business that this guy's doing, somebody else could have done, and that person would have paid the taxes, and now you're not paying the tax. You're causing him a loss.
Right.
And remember, the whole idea of mafkia chayv does not apply to maso matan. It doesn't apply by business. So this is like a business loss for the king. It doesn't apply. It's not the same as withholding the repayment for a loan.
Right.
Furthermore, the king is muhzak. He has a chazaka that it's coming to him. The meaning belongs to him. He deserves the what's coming from the people of the.
Yeah, it's rightfully his.
Yeah. See, here he says both reasons. Right? First he says, that's according to the Rashba. And then he says,
I'm under his jurisdiction, you know.
Right, so he uses both reasons here, the Rashba and the Rashbam.
And the Rashbam is what? Because
And the Rashba is
you mean you and me, Anene from America, Shalom Das?
from the whatever from the
Protection.
from the king's land.
Yeah, the protection he gives us, I think, you know.
Or Bichlal, it's the fact is that this land is United States land. It's under the what do you call it, the sovereignty of the United States. And right, or whoever. I mean, usually you don't pay the United States property taxes. You pay whatever, but fine. So in my case, so I'm under we don't pay the Commonwealth either. We pay the county, but it's according to the Commonwealth laws or whatever. But we're under the sovereignty of whatever body we pay the property taxes to.
Yes.
Yeah. And v'hainu sha'aschirish magim mimena ameches, that the goods, that the taxes come because of its sale. Mishubedis lemelech. They're how do you say mishubedis? They belong to the king, essentially.
Yeah.
Little mimena meches, that he's allowed to take a tax. It's only under his permission that you can use these goods. Okay, and as if it's mamish's property. Kivan shiba, since it's in his land, so now he goes back to his land. Shulchan Aruch Harav adds, v'yesh chilkim alzeh, and some argue, matirim lavriach hameches, api shememuna olav Yisrael neman. Afal pi shememuna olav Yisrael neman. Even though the tax collector is a known, honorable, and trustworthy Jew. Why? Because at the end of the day, he's collecting for the king who's not Jewish. Now, if the tax collector, the appointee of the king, knows about his tax evasion, it's not fitting for him to press him, to force him. Yeah. Since according, even though he shouldn't be doing it, but midina, he's allowed to withhold the repayment of the loan he owes. And if there is the element here that he is afraid of the king, because I'm the tax collector of the king, and I didn't collect from you, I'm going to get in trouble.
Right.
The king's going to throw me in a dungeon and take away my land, and what's it called? So then he's allowed to force him. Shita Zurik, Shita Zaran. This is the Shita of the Ran. Shemisiachis lehishtamtus mimeches kafkos chayv shel nochri muteres v'chein psak hagiro. So the Ran, the Giro paskin that the meches to a melech nochri is falls under is hafkos chayv nochri, and therefore and it's midin, it's allowed. However, from the Ramah, it arises Shehaven is Divri Haran, but even Choshen, that he understands the Ran somewhat differently. Oy sheposa kachram mutzaz bein Ram l'Ran. Or either that, or he's paskening like a compromise between the Rambam and the Ran. So either he understands the Ran differently, or he's making a compromise, making like a third shita. That's a compromise. What does the Ramah say? Even though you're not allowed to evade taxes because the law of the land is the law, still, so he's not over on he's taka he's over, but he's not over on like sigzel.
So what
Rather,
are you over?
which like the Rambam says, but rather you're on nafkas chayv.
Yeah, but of course, Rav is not one of the Tariag mitzvahs. It's not it's not like this. You know what I'm saying?
Right, not only that, did I see a lot of mafkiach chayv
You are, yeah.
to a nachri, yeah,
According to the Alter Rebbe too.
medina.
Oh, okay.
The question is if you consider this nafkas chayv or not.
What is it if not that? After all, you're not actively stealing. You're just abstaining from paying.
I don't see how his thing is a pshat. It sounds to me that I'm saying the same thing. Maybe he'll explain it. So anyway, the Ramah says that even though you're not allowed to evade taxes because dina machsdina, but still, he's not even on like sigzil. He's only even on afkaz chayv. Which you're not supposed to do, but you're not mamish even on for sure not on a deraisa. And therefore, a Jewish tax collector who collects for a Goyish king, he cannot force other Jews to pay. Because at the end of the day, is mutaris. If he's afraid he's going to get in trouble by the king, then he could force them. Masha, I guess now I'll explain. Mashma meramo, so it implies from the Ramah, shlechatchilo osur lavriach hameches. So that's where his pshara is. By the Ran, you're lechatchila. He says lechatchila. You can.
It'll be mavriach.
Yeah, it's of course alva. You can lechatchila. According to the Ramah, lechatchila you're not allowed to. Ella she'im avar v'hivriach ein chayav lishalim. But if he already did, he's not chayav to pay it back. Shizui of course alva. Be'erech shai. Heisif levair b'divrei haramah sheyesh lahavchin bein mikre shedin amalchus hu she'odom she'ovar b'geshem nesuyim tzorich lifrei hameches la'achir she'ovar al-achir she'ovar. You remember, like we had the case when you go to an amusement park, and if you pay, and if you're supposed to pay, yes, you have to pay. But let's say for whatever reason you meant to pay, you're supposed to pay at the end or something. Now you can it's tafkos alva and it's lachar ha'maisa. You don't have to pay it, as long as they're not going to know and it won't be a chil Hashem, right?
Right.
So this is the similar thing. So let's say there's a bridge, right? You know, like the Verzano, right?
Yeah.
You only pay on one side of it or whatever.
Like the George Washington.
Like depending where the toll bridge, like sometimes the tolls are in the beginning of the thing and sometimes at the end of a thing. Right?
The George Washington Bridge is when you enter New York City.
Right. But on
Not
which side of the bridge is the
in the side as you drive in.
okay, fine. Now the Pennsylvania or now the turnpikes, right? When do you pay? When you get off,
Yeah.
right?
Well, it depends what okay, the New Jersey Turnpike or
In
yeah, or
Pennsylvania, yeah, because you enter it, it scans you, but it doesn't charge you yet. When
right,
you
right,
get
right.
off, then it says, okay, now
Depends
pay
on
where you
depends how
exit.
far down. Yeah, depends where you get out.
So you pay when you get out. Fine. So this is similar. Is that so? He's making according to the Ramah, you would do it. Why? Because what's the Ramah? The Chatchila, you can't do it. But the Achar HaMaisa, you're not chayiv to pay.
Yeah.
So he says that a bridge
Are you
that
talking about jumping
a
the
person
toll?
has to pay,
Are you
that a
talking about
person pays the bridge
jumping
when
the
he's
toll?
getting off or when he's getting on, would be a different halacha. Because if you pay when you get on, so you have a chachiyuv to pay. But if you're paying once you get off, now it's already hafkas alva.
And what's getting on? What would you call it?
Getting on is also lavriach hameches. You're not allowed to evade the tax, so you're chayiv to pay b'shas you're getting on. If the payment is when you're getting off, then it's a different. The halach is different now. Why? Because it's already lachar ha'maisa.
Right.
So now it's hafkas alva, and hafkas alva lachar ha'maisa is what do you call it? Is you're not you don't have to repay it at that point already.
Right.
Kasher chayvas hatashlum hirak la'achar she'avar, when the obligation to pay is only after he passed. Harizu hafkas alva shemuteres. So this is a hafkas alva that's muter.
That's a very good example. Leaving the highway.
Right.
Leaving
After the time.
But what other thing do we have like that, similar to that?
We had the thing where let's say you went into an amusement park.
Right.
You were intending to pay at the end and then you forgot. You don't have to go back and pay.
Right. Even the chiyuv over there was
right.
It was on the way in, remember?
Yeah.
But somehow you forgot. I don't know how you could forget, but you could forget. Yes.
Or listen, I'll tell you exactly how. I just had this. I Mamish just had this. Now, it's not exactly because I wouldn't have paid anything different. I go to the zoo every morning.
Right. You pay?
Well, yeah, and I walk the whole zoo. So they just put a new entry thing in. It used to be one place, and then you go up the escalators on the top over there. There's where you pay for the tickets. Now they made it's the bottom of the escalators. Is in order to enter, you go through where you pay. Why? Because maybe people were sneaking through because you could have just gone without a ticket. Nobody's really checking. Now you have to actually pass through gates in order to enter.
To enter.
To enter, yeah.
And so what do you do? And you need to take a ticket.
Pay there, or in my case, they scan my barcode. I have membership. I don't pay anything. I paid already. I paid for the year.
You're good to go.
Right. So they wouldn't have lost money, but in either case, the first day they did it, the person wasn't standing there yet. Something. I walked right through the gate. I didn't scan my thing. Nothing. I went through the whole zoo because I thought it was still up on top where it used to be. But now they just changed it that day. The security guards didn't say nothing because they know me. I'm there. I walk there every morning, so they already recognize me. So they didn't even what's it called? And I walked right by, and everybody else, they saw whatever. I'm there every morning. But nobody knew any different.
How long did it take to walk?
And then when I came out, when I was coming out, I told them, by the way, if you want to scan I mean, again, they wouldn't have lost any money because I already paid for the whole thing. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really make it.
Do you have any documentation?
But I'm saying, but let's say I would have paid daily, and I would have done that, and walked in, and I passed the security, and I don't know where the tickets are, and only when I left did I realize, oh, the tickets are there, and I walked right by it. So then, in such a case, according to this, I wouldn't have to pay. Now, again, it's not exactly my case, because in my case, I paid already for the whole year. I just told them, if you want to scan my barcode, you can scan my barcode. Just it makes a difference.
Huh.
Anyway, so but it's talking about that
on the way in they recognize you, on the way out they also recognize you.
Yeah, but in other words, not only that, they're not checking people who are leaving.
Are you the only person there at that time?
If you're leaving, they're assuming you paid on the way in.
Right, because you have to pay on the way in.
Right.
Let me ask you a question. Are you the only person there in the morning, or what?
There's not a lot of people in the morning. It's pretty empty.
What time do you go in there?
9:00. 9:15. So first of all, only members can go at 9:15 anyways. Everybody else has to wait till 9:30 to get in.
Wow.
Which I like, because like this I get a head start, and it's like empty. I don't have to be fighting through people, nothing. I just walk the whole thing. It's mostly just me. There's a person here, a person there, but not so much people. But in either case, let's say I didn't have membership, and now I walked through. I didn't see where the ticket person is, and I thought it was still up top. And I went up top. I didn't see them there, so I did my walk, and all the okay. And then by the time I got to the end, now I see, oh, this is how they're doing it. So then the question is, would I have to pay or not?
Yeah.
So according to this Rama, if I only if I it would be like, of course, halva at that point.
Yeah.
Another example is you have, for example, on buses, right? Depending which direction the bus is going, you pay when you get on, and you pay when you get off over here. If you're going towards downtown, you pay on the way on or something, and if you're going away from downtown, you pay on the way off, something like this.
It's amazing. It's like
So it's
I know that in Florida, buses you pay on the way in.
yeah, but Pittsburgh is a little bit.
Maybe they're trying to be more careful. That's all.
I don't know. Not sure why.
Okay, weiter.
Fine. Yeah, fine. The same would be the rule if he has goods, merchandise in his possession that he already bought. The Hever and he already, I guess, sold it. And now he has to pay taxes on it. Because it's only it's a loan, because he owed it before. Right, because the taxes,
Yeah.
sell something, it's only after you sell it.
Yeah.
However, when the obligation to pay is before,
You have two taxes. There's sales tax, which you pay after you sell it.
Right.
And there's a tax that you pay when you get the schoira, right?
Like us, meaning the sales tax that I'm paying or for example, let's say a car lease, right?
Yeah.
Car lease, I have to pay the taxes for, depending on the state. I have to pay the taxes for the entire lease
Up front, no?
Yeah. On the other hand, let's say I would then buy out the lease and sell the car and make a profit. That I would have to pay after. So So then, when the tax is due already at the time, then now he's because his obligation to pay was before. So now it was gezel. He's using the king's stuff without permission. Also, last is he's not do this. The money, and even the Jewish tax collector can stop him from transgressing this. However, if he successfully evaded it already, and then the tax collector should not force him to give because now it's already changed over into Avkas Alva. The Erech Shai Siyem Shekach Nida Iker Ladino, and the Erech Shai, he furthermore, so he explains the Ramah this way, and he furthermore says that he believes that the Ramah's opinion is the Iker Din. So Nimtzim Kain, so now he's going to summarize. Nimtzim Kain Shalashidits Medin Avrachas Meches. So we find there are three opinions when it comes to tax evasion.
לשיטת השולחן אורך ומחבר, יש בו איסור גזל הגוי.
Right, so you have, he goes backwards here. Oh yeah, no, you're right, yeah. L'shita shulchan aruch, yesh b'zo ishal gezel guy. Fine. Yeah, that's the shulchan aruch, was very pashut. Is avrachas meches, is gezel, right? That was it. Then you have Erech Shai, based on the Mashmos and the Ramah, that it depends. When your obligation to pay is before, right? So it has.
Also, it's a פעולה שיש בה משום שימוש
Also,
בשטח.
שיש בה משום שימוש בשטח של המלך, או ברכוש בלי לשלם על כך, as I need to shall be din malchus, because it's beforehand. Acher ma'aseh kegoin she'etzliach laver b'li l'shalim, right? Like he already evaded it. Or that the tax is only due after when he's done, after he passes. Then
he's allowed to draw out of it.
Yeah,
That's
then
he's not allowed to. In other words,
and notice im ein bekachil Hashem.
Yeah, of course. In all matters, he's talking about when there's those chilul Hashem, you know.
So that's the second shita. The third shita is the Gerah al pi mashmos haran. That kol avrachas meches mi melech nachri nechshavs of kasal vo muteres im ein chilul Hashem. Obviously, again. So according to the Gerah, right? So according to Shulchan Aruch, he goes according to the Rambam. It's gezel. According to the Gerah, who goes by the Mashmos Haran, it's always of Kasal and it's mutter, as long as it's no Chil Hashem. Erech Shai, based on the Ramah, says, well, no, it depends if it's before or after. B'Shulchan Aruch Harav Hevirak es Hashita Harishayna v'Hashlishis. He doesn't bring this shita that's a pshara. Only brings that it's either always gezel or he brings it or it's always of kasal vo. And he says that the Yirei Shamayim Yachmer la'atzmek isvar l'ishayna she'os lavriach klal. So that you should hold that Yirei Shamayim will hold like the Shulchan Aruch. So lavir al isasa, but Shabbat Torah. Why? Because at the end of the day, we're talking about according to the Rambam, the Shulchan Aruch, he's over on the Isra Deiraisa.
In other words, he's saying like this. The Alter Rebbe is saying that even though there's a machloikes,
yeah, and there is virtue to the Ran's shita.
Yeah, to the heterim. In other words, there's yeshmai. But there are those who are. They say the chashashi is the rise.
Yeah. Right, because
So
remember,
then,
we're talking about mamish. If according to that shita, it's mamish nisuderaisa. It's gezel. It's like sigzel.
so he's saying you should be choishesh to the Isur Deraisa. That's all. That's what he's saying. He said you should be choishesh to that.
Meaning, it sounds like he's saying that Medina, it's like Duran. However, being that there's a chash, yeah, that's what it sounds like to me.
Right. The din is like the Ran.
But Yirei Shemayim Yachmin al Atzmei Kishluchan Aruch.
You know, if you say like the Gro, which is like the Ran, in the worst scenario, there's a Isu Derabanan because it's really it's of
Yeah.
course what do you call it? Of course, salva drying out of it.
Right. So it seems like
I want you to know something. There's no halva over here. It's a kind of a it's a kind
no,
of like
it's a halva by default.
by default, exactly. It's
But
because
meaning,
you're being charged and you owe it to them.
But the fact that you now it's really more of a chayv than a halva. It's really nasa bal chayv. But that falls under the halachis of afkas halva, even though it's not technically halva. Fine. Now, next thing. Top of page 51. But he meaning he bought the rights.
The rights
to collect the taxes.
You bought the rights to do that?
Yeah, he bought it from the king.
I'm sorry, I want to read because I'm mamish like super exhausted and I need to stay up. Do you mind that? I mean, I know that. Thank you. וכן ישרול קונו מהמכס מהמלך, המבריח עצמוי, הרי זה גויזל ישרול שקנואי. Ha! Anybody who evades the tax is stealing from a Jew.
Right? Why? Because the Jew now owns
he bought the rights. He bought the rights.
Tax collection doesn't belong to the Melech Nachri anymore. It belongs
and he's not collecting on his behalf.
Right, he's collecting on his own behalf. It's his right. He owns the right to this now.
It's
the same because it's the same thing. It's the same as if the king had it. He's a Nachri and he's a Nachri. So nothing changed.
Hold on a second. How could the Shulchan Aruch say this? Shulchan Aruch says it's not, of course, a choiv. He says it's mamish also. That's like the shittas of the
I'll tell you why. Because now that the guy, if a Jew owns it, it's bleibt gezel. If a guy owns it, but this guy who owns it, he's not the melech, so dina de malchusa no longer applies. The whole reason that it was gezel.
I understand.
Was malchusa, right?
Yeah.
But now this other guy, he's not the melech. So dina de
okay,
malchusa.
let me jot this down because the Ein Kan Isur Gezel Mishum Dina de Malchusa Mekivan Shehamelech Mochar how do you say Hameches
Yeah.
Le'akum Acher. Okay, fine.
Yeah, so now it becomes the same as just Afkas Alva from a regular guy, because there's no there's no din of Malchusa involved here.
He said the Ramos says like this: Hey, Gabi Yisrael shekon meches me'melech yesh emrim she'afilu yadua sheYisrael lo yikech yosef min hakitzba mikomokim also lehavriach mimenu dover hakotzuv dehave kegoyzer min hagazlan deoso.
Right. So now let's say he's really only allowed to take 5%, and he's taking 6%. He's cheating people and taking 6%. On the you don't have to pay him the extra percent, but on the 5%, you're not allowed to evade it. Why? Because then you're getting a gun. You don't have to let him rob you. You don't have to pay the 6%, but the 5% you got to pay him, because otherwise you're getting Meganim. Or Geisel Megazlin.
It seems from here that you have to pay everything, no?
No. Osur lahavriach mimenu dover hakotzuv. The part that's kotzuv, you can't be mavriach. The part that the lekeach yeser min hakitzvah, you don't have to pay him, because that he's trying to rob you. You don't have to let him rob you.
That's what the Rambam wants to say.
But yeah, but the 5% that's kotzuv, that's rightfully his. The fact that he's trying to rob you for another percent, that's a separate issue. So that don't pay him. But the 5% is rightfully his. You have to pay him. Oh, here, look, the SIman the Shulchan Aruch Harav further.
Okay. That's SIman Shulchan Aruch Harav birut sheos abriach mechas keze davke dover hakotzuv keloshen aramo. אבל שמעבר לקיצור means what he adds to the
that he's trying to cheat.
Right, מותר להבריח ממנו אפילו אם יצטרך שם כך לשקר לו. כלומר, החידוש של הרמו הוא, היינו יכולים לחשוב שמאחר שאויס מויחס, יש ביוד כסופים גנובים, שגובה מהנושים אחרים יוספים מה שהיו צורך גבויס רשאי, אודם להירס לעצמו, היית להבליח ממנו אפילו את מה שהיו מחויב לוסס, לא חלק ממה שמחויב לוסס. על פי דין המלכות, which is the דבר הקוצר. That's what you might have thought.
Right, you would think, wait a second, but he stole from all these people. He has stolen money in his hands. So
I'm not going to pay him the davar shenoi kotsu. I'm also going to pay you
I'll lie to him about the whole thing, because he has stolen money. But he has way more than's rightfully his already.
שאף על פי שאויסן מויחס, הוא גז להם כמוקם עתו בתור אדם פרוטי מחויב לוסס לוי את הסכום הקוצוב שעתו אומר לוסס.
You're right. All these other people, what he stole from them has nothing to do with you. You
also liegt so in a gaz.
The part that you're supposed to pay.
כשמבריח קיצת המלך, גזל גומר הוא. ידוע שהמויחס אסור לגבות יוצא מה שאתה מחייב, מותר לך לשקר לו, ולא אומר שיש ביודך פוחס חוירה. או פוחס רב במוקם של זה. באופן שיגבה ממך רק את מה שאתה מחויב ולא מעבר לכך. You're allowed to lie. You are allowed to lie, not to have to pay the extra, but
just like if a Goslin jumps you and says, "You have any money?" and you say no, and you have $20 in your pocket, same thing. At the same time, you can only deny the part that's not rightfully his. Fine. ויתר מיסים, שיינים, וחוקים, כלכליים שקבע המלך.
Okay, let's move on. Yeah?
Yeah.
מיסים, שיינים, וחוקים, כלכליים שקבע המלך. המשך רמב"ם משולחן ערוך. המשך רמב"ם משולחן ערוך. וכן מלך ששם מס על בני העיר. Well, kol ish veish mas gulgoylus, right? Per head.
Yeah.
Dover kotsu me shon leshona, oy al kol soda dover kotsu, oy she gozer shkol mi sheyavoir al dover ze yilkechu kol nechosov lebeis hamelech, oy kol mi sheimtza besoda beshar hagoyrin sheyevul nimtza b'shusa bizman Asifas hayevul, hu yitin hamas sheoleho ben shehoyehu bal hasoda ben sheinu bal hasoda וכל גזע בדברים אלו אינו גזע ישראל שגובה אויסר מלך אינו בחזקת גזן והרי הוא כושר והוא שלא יוסיף ולא ישנה ולא ייקח לעצמו כלום.
What's the situation? So the king makes a tax.
It's called a kopzol in Yiddish, kopzol.
Or yeah, what's the, let's say per capita, yeah?
Yeah, per capita, yeah.
That right, and for an annual tax, or on each, or anybody who does a certain transgression against the king's rules, they take all of his the government takes possession of all of his property, or that anybody who's in the field at the time of the gathering of the produce has to give a tax. So anything like this, it's not it's fine, meaning the king's allowed to do that. And therefore if you have someone who's a collector, who's an honest collector, who's going by the book, then you have to pay it.
Yeah.
Fine. Next, a king that punishes somebody by taking.
Can I ask you a question? What is the chiddush over here? You know,
that it's not just property taxes and sales taxes and that. It's whatever the king the din de malchus extends also to whatever kind of taxes the king decides. But
and I don't think there's any chance that you could be matir anything because of mabria.
No, you could say maybe the king doesn't really have the right to.
Right. So here his rights extend themselves to the maximum, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So he's like, yeah, the king could whatever he wants to do.
And you can't dray out of it. I mean, I don't know how technically you would be able to do it, but it's saying you would still have to, you know, you can't do hafkoas hamas over here. I mean, my question to you is: it according to the Gro and according to the Ran, could you do this? Because because here it seems to be a little bit. I mean, because of I don't know. I can't work out what exactly is okay. Melech Shemanish, yeah?
Yeah, a king who punishes some people by taking.
Confiscates from him land, whatever.
Yeah. So eight costs for Ramash Aruch. Geen melech shekas alech mi avodav. A king gets angry at one of his servants or his mishamshim, from the people of his kingdom. But he takes his field, or he takes his square. Not still, it's not stealing. And he's allowed to benefit from it. Somebody who buys it now, from the king, it's legally his. And the prior owner cannot take it from him. It's because the king took it validly. Right? So now the Balasad is going to come to the Beis Din and say, hey, the king took it, now this guy bought it, I want my thing back. And the Beis Din will tell him, no, sorry, the king's allowed to take it from you. The Rambam explains the reason Shezedin Melachim Kulam Lika Kolmamin
What happened over here? He took it away from him?
Yeah, he took it away from his yeah. The king confiscated the property and sold it to this guy. He got angry at this guy, and as a punishment, he confiscated all of his property.
Okay, now what happens?
And now that's he takes Reuven's property. Shimon goes and buys it from the king. Reuven has no taina in Beis Din against Shimon. It's legal. It's Shimon's land. He bought it from the king. It's like what's it called? Reuven has no claim on it. He can't now come to Beis Din and sue him for it. Right, so that's if it's according to the law. Hemshech Ram Shulchan Aruch. Aval melech shelokach soda ichotze shelech mibnei Medina sheloi b'dinim shechakak. Right, like we know, the case with what's his name, with that they wanted his vineyard and they killed him.
Nabat.
By
Yeah, that's
what's it called?
that is Isabel.
By Novis.
Novice, Novice, yeah.
Vineyards of Novis. That they had him killed or whatever and took his land. Harizeh Gazlan. Anybody who buys it from him, the Beis Din can take it away from him. What's the general rule? Any law that the king makes that's for everybody, it's not just for one person. Ain't a gezel. The kol sheikach mish zeh bilvad shaloika dos yedu lakel ela chomas al zeh hari zeh gezel. Mehilchus elo elo shedin de malchus dinahu afilu b'dvarim she'ein bahem tiyel tzneim. So it turns out that it's not only din de malchus does not only apply to things that benefit the whole country. But it's only when it's the usual way of a king. But if he's doing what's not the normal way, like we saw by Yezevel and Novis, and that whole by Achov, was it Achov?
Yes.
Yeah, so like that it wasn't Kederech HaMalchus. This wasn't the same thing they did to everybody. They had a tithe on this to have this vineyard, so they made a kunz and had him killed.
Right.
And then it's Gezel. V'hu diyu kaloshin dina de malchusa v'loy dina de malka. That means the din that applies to everybody, rather than one that applies just to the king.
Not a personal thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Ha'im din malchusa dina b'shul din demokrati. Do you say by democracy? Right here, we're talking about a king.
Yeah, how do you say theocracy? A theocracy, no?
It's like you asked before. How about the United States? It's not a king.
Yeah, like no. Even the United Kingdom, that the king has zero power.
Also, right. But I'm saying before you said like, so okay, in the United States there's no king. So how does this apply? So luckily the Chavid Das, he had your same question.
Yeah.
שאל שוב את העבודה, נישל הם מותר מן הדין להשתמט מתשלום מס הכנסה, right, income tax, ומס ערך, and like a value tax, ערך מייסף, I guess that's a profit, tax on profits.
What was that, income tax? You call that?
Well, the mas הכנסה is income tax, right? It's on הכנסה, it's on what you brought in.
Yeah.
And there's mas erech meisov. That's a tax on that's a tax on profits, on you profited from an investment.
Rather than on in other words,
as opposed to
yeah,
for
example,
example,
earned income and unearned income, no?
It's not on earned income. It's it's because your thing now is a higher value.
Oh, and the opposite of depreciation. The opposite of depreciation. You mean?
It's It's on appreciation.
An appreciation, right? The
appreciation.
value of your property went up, and you pay a tax on that.
meches.
By the way, in Rockland County, where we live, should the value of your house go up, so will your taxes.
Your property taxes go up, yeah.
I wonder that's the same idea.
I think the Mas Erech Meisav is a little different. I think it's almost like if your stock portfolio made a profit,
Oh, okay.
that your stocks are now valued higher.
Uh-huh.
Which goes to the treasury of the country. Yesh. It's a cloud. Or do we still say the idea of din malchus dina? Yichavedos herich leichiach shegam b'shilton demokrati she'enei misnail al pi melech el al pi nivchari ha'am shayach haklal the din malchus dina. It's still it's right. It's not by a king, but rather by officials who are chosen, who are elected. Shayach haklal din malchus dina. It still applies. The rule of the law of the land is the law. In all of the above things, it still applies. And so too the Achreinim of our times agreed with them. In light of this, Kosav Yechavedoas, the Yechavedoas writes, Yesh lekayim es hachik shel Medinas Yisrael. So Medinas Yisrael is the same thing. Would be no difference.
It says that.
Yeah. According to the Yechavedoas. But he added Shalafi Halacha that according to Halacha also lahatul mas al Talmidei Chachamim. You're not allowed to tax Talmidei Chachamim. V'or Piskei Rosh shegam rivuach shehisig Talmid Chacham al yidei maso matan v'esek shel chel patur mas. Why? Because it's going to support his Torah learning. And therefore, it would be patur. Okay, I have to jump now.
Me too. Thank you very much. So according to the Chaved Das, which is Chacham Ovadia, by the way,
Yeah,
Chacham Ovadia Yosef, what is he saying? That it's also
you have to pay that you have to pay the taxes, but he also says that it's also to tax Talmidei Chachamim.
You have to pay to Medinat Israel as what? As Yidden or as Din Malchusa?
Din Malchusa, just like the United States citizen has to pay to the United States.
Okay.
Okay, thank you everybody so much.
Thank you. Take care. Be well. Brocha v'hatzlocha to everybody.
Amen. And to you all.
Thank